Hey, I'm Josh Hannan, and I'm here chatting with Milky. I started my kind of musical journey in high school when I was trying to join my mate's rock band, and I wanted to play guitar, but they already had two guitarists, so I started singing. My parents have been musos since I was born, so it was always in the house playing everywhere, and I wanted to do science and rebel against what they were doing, but it was a bit of an inevitable force that I came into the music industry and started writing songs and haven't looked back. Play a bit of piano, a bit of guitar. Haven't for ages, but I can play trumpet if need be, so in the future there might be a bit of a Tash Sultana moment somewhere. A lot of the time I'm starting a song at the piano. I'll just sit down and, I'll be playing a song I know. I might make a mistake or I hear something in my head and it kind of leads me somewhere else and the song seed begins. But yeah, it definitely helps to be able to play some chords when you're writing a song. Over the past 2 years, I've had the privilege to work with heaps of super talented producers and writers who've really kind of pushed me and helped me explore a lot of different genres and vibes with my music. And I think I've gone from a pretty like acoustic, folky singer-songwriter type vibe to a bit more of a dark cinematic thing, which I'm really stoked on. I think actually the writing kind of led me there. The EP's about some pretty like personal stuff that I was going through, and I was in a bit of a dark place for a while. And I think I'm quite a visual thinker and visual writer as well. I love like movies and like soundtracking. The idea of soundtracking a movie has always been something that really interested me. So I wanted to build a sonic that felt really cinematic and kind of visually evocative. So yeah, it's definitely led by trying to encapsulate what the lyrics are saying in the sound. The main thing is I can't afford therapy. So songwriting is like my place where I work through things that are going on in my life and kind of decide how helps me decide how I'm feeling. I think there's in the music industry, there's so many honest and empathetic people, and they tend to, there's no stakes because they don't know anyone in your life a lot of the time when you're jumping into a random session. One of the tracks on the EP, Am I Even On Your Mind, I wrote with Sam Fisher. It was the first time I'd ever met him, spoken to him, and we literally dived straight into like a 2-hour D&M in the studio and wrote the whole song like on the day. So I really resonate with other artists, and yeah, writing is my kind of emotional, how I deal with all of my stuff in my life, pretty much. The EP touches on a lot of different things, but the general thread of it, I think, comes down to being in a relationship, moving into adult life and coming out of high school and a lot of these very structured and not mundane, but like when you come out of high school and everyone wants to become their own person and there's a lot of experimentation and trying new things, and with that can come it can be tricky in a relationship sometimes because you change so quickly after that kind of those first forming years. And yeah, it's kind of about the tussle with working out, like learning to love the person again and again as they change and as you change, going through all the crazy, wonderful things of adult life. Definitely would be Dead Heart for me, the title track of the EP. That one I wrote myself entirely and co-produced on it. So I feel like it's the most accurate representation of who I was at the time of the EP and who I am as well. And I'm really proud of that track. So yeah, Dead Heart. Bleed for You. So this is probably one of the first lines I wrote for the whole EP about 6 years ago when I was in high school. And I had a friend that was going through a bit of a tough time and was sort of isolating herself from everyone else. And she was really close. I was really close with her, and yeah, kind of drifted off. And in Bleed for You, one of the verses is like, now you wander dirty streets at night, looking anywhere for a light, sitting on the train tracks, ripping off the wings that used to make you fly. Every time I hear that, it still resonates with me even now, 6 years later. At a Josh Hannan live show, you can expect to be singing your guts out. There's a few tracks that are coming up on the next record, which will definitely be singing along. So prepare those pipes because you'll be wanting to smash them out. The live space is the place where you can get the most honest representation of the songs that I'm putting out. And it's one thing to hear it on your release radar on Spotify, but I think seeing it in the flesh and getting to hear a bit of the story behind it is probably really important, particularly for me as I'm a songwriter and I like people to kind of be able to feel like they can connect to a song. So yeah, and live is probably my favorite part of this job. So being able to sing my songs and have a crowd sing them back is the ultimate dream and the ultimate goal going through the rest of my career, I think. For this EP, it was probably Hosier, Sam Fender, and Coldplay, and even some like early Ed Sheeran stuff. Flume. I think when I'm performing, I often am in the space of the song and I kind of find a way to get back to where I was when I was writing it. And obviously, I mean, it's in the back of my mind if, people are singing in the crowd, that's pretty cool as well. But yeah, I think I'm normally right in the lyrics and thinking about how I can paint that picture for everyone that's in the audience while I'm singing the song. Miley Cyrus. It was either Brother or Blackbird. Brother by Matt Corby or Blackbird by the Beatles. First concert was Foo Fighters, and that was still probably in the top 2 I've ever been to. It's unreal. I actually think Sam Fender tops that. I saw Sam Fender at Splendor in the Grass, and that was the best thing I've ever seen. Just the way he worked the crowd and everything was really inspiring. I don't know if this counts, but I used to smash the So Fresh CDs. Oh, yeah. I had them, and I had like a little CD player when I was like in primary school, and I used to just absolutely smash them. I love them. Spice Girl. Last week it was actually Rod Laver, but I just went to at the Opera Bar last night, and I think playing the outdoor opera house venue is an absolute dream for me right now. Someone you loved, Lewis Capaldi. Anyone, if anyone covers my songs, that's awesome. Yeah. Bruce Springsteen on like one side of it, but I also think a lot of people kind of stifle this, but I think Ed Sheeran lyrically, a lot of people are really inspired by. Make sure you keep writing all the time. And yeah, that's the most important thing at the end of the day is writing a good song. Everything else can change. I am so bad. I'm like the slowest reader. I can't read faster than I speak. But I recently just read The Creative Act by Rick Rubin, which was a really good book. It's got to be the final countdown. If you're doing that, you got to make it. This is really random. I don't think I've ever said this to anyone, but I would sing a few demos. So my parents are musos as well, and I would get in the studio and sing some demos to help them out. And one time I was playing one at school just to listen back to it, and one of my mates heard it, and he was like, "Bro, who's that? That sounds like a pro vocalist." And it was like, I was like, "No, it's me." And he was like freaking out all lunchtime. And he was like, "Mate, you have to do this. Like, don't worry about like all your like other shit that you're worrying about. you got to follow the music. And yeah, I think it literally started there. So shout out to Jesse